Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or good something. We are streaming again from the Senior Synth stream, and this time it's about SuperBooth. Besides the great chatters in the chat, we have Tim Dale, and there he is, and Manny Fernandez, and Andy, Synth Addict, Andy Joyce. And we are going to talk about SuperBooth. Andy, you weren't there, but you have been at a lot of other events, so you know what we talk about.
A little too far for me, but I'd like to go sometime.
Yeah, I hope you will come. It's we'll get to that. but welcome, Tim. You are the new one on this stream, so let's hear something about you.
Thank you for the invite. I'm just trying to get to grips with being called senior now. So it's my name's Tim Dale. I'm a sound designer. I live in the UK. I'm currently living in Wales, so I've been synth player, bass player for many years, and then 2015 got into thought that other people might start liking the sounds I was creating, so I started selling packs of sounds. So most of the stuff I've done is for Omnisphere, but I'm diversifying into other synths as well, and you can find all my stuff on pluginguru.com. It's a quick plug. So you're muted, Henrik.
Oh yeah,
drink.
He's testing his mic. It's okay.
I thought about making a silent movie show where when we talk, text pops up in black and white.
All kinds of dramatic expressions of the.
Yeah, and we are saying a long sentence, and then it just says yes, and
But who's going to
so
play
on.
the live ragtime piano?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. I'm sure silence lends itself to a show about music, but there you go.
Yeah. You were on SuperBooth too, and actually I lived 500 meters from you. So we were following each other, going together to the SuperBooth.
Yes.
Yeah,
So every year we get an Airbnb, and it's very multinational. So it's a great time for getting together. And
yeah.
and
And Manny, you were on SuperBooth too.
Yeah, first time. Everybody told me I had to go because it's quite a unique experience. So I finally decided this would be the year to do it. And it was very interesting. It was very much kind of what I expected, but also very much not what I expected. I mean, just in the context of other things I've been to. It's got a very KnobCon vibe, but it's a lot bigger than KnobCon, but same sort of underlying enthusiasts vibe. It's not like a NAMM show at all, thank God. But NAMM still's got its pluses too. But the best thing I liked about it is where they hold it. That venue is really quite nice. I like the mix of the inside and the outside, the bungalows, and just being out in that park is just kind of cool. So when you're overloaded on gear, you can just go sit on a bench and sip a beer for a half an hour before you're ready to dive back in.
Yeah, and it was nice with the woods. It was, and the weather was perfect.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. So, Andy, you are the NAMM addict.
That's right. And well, I like Synthplex, but they don't have it anymore. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it comes back. But that was a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw. I'm sure you're going to get to the list of all the cool stuff at the show. But I was looking. Tom Synth Anatomy had, of course, amazing breakdown of all the stuff there on his site. And I was just browsing through, going, man, there's some really good stuff that was released at SuperBooth. Even stuff that came out of the ashes, like WMD has a new mixer since they got refunded. So yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah. I didn't prepare much. I didn't read all about SuperBooth. I did it years ago because it was the plan that I should go years ago. But I didn't prepare this time. I just made sure I had to ticket and all that stuff. I'm actually happy I didn't, because I as you probably have seen on some of my videos, I walk around and sniff everything, learn what's there and what is it, because I knew it was about synthesizers. I knew it was about modular. I knew it was about sounds. But
You didn't know it was about frogs this year, did you?
foxes or what?
Frogs. You didn't know it was about frogs this year.
Oh yeah. There was an area which was locked down because of the frogs needed to get to the water. Or perhaps was out of
and
the
mating.
water.
Apparently.
Oh, you get some recordings?
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, that's the golden rule of SuperBooth. If it moves, sample it.
Sample it. Yeah, granulate it later.
So, what about you? What were your preparations for SuperBooth, Manny?
My preparations, basically just booking the trip, because as Andy said, it's a little far trip for us. But what was my mental preparation? Let's go that way. I approached it a little bit like a NAMM show, into thinking that first thing I'm going to do when I get there is make the rounds quickly, see what's interesting to me specifically, and see what's just like quirky that's going to require going back, spending more time, and trying to dive into. And then second day is hardcore that, really soaking up all the stuff of interest. Third day is kind of go back, review, see what I missed, ask more questions about stuff. And of course, all in the midst of that, chat with all the people you run into, because as all of these events are, the gear is part of it, but honestly, the people is probably the best part by the time you wrap it up at the end. So that's kind of my approach was. I knew it was going to be a little overwhelming. I knew it was going to cost me money coming home. Arturia and Tip Top contributed to that.
You didn't have that famous thing where Nick Back got lost that year? Did you ever wander around?
I kind of got lost going to the bungalows the first time, because I'd never paid attention walking in that we walked right by it at the little check-in gate. So I thought it was off in a totally different direction. And I was following 3 or 4 other people who were equally lost. But then, we finally found it, which I'm glad we did, because that's where Bukla was. That's where Dofer was. That's where Udio was. A lot of really good vendors over in that area. And that was really cool. They had AMS. Mayor was there. I mean, just that part alone, Andy, you would have gotten lost for half a day with the stuff they had there. I mean, it was cool. If you might know this, Andy, from all the years you've went to NAMM, but in the heyday of NAMM, you remember the basement?
Yes.
So imagine SuperBooth is nothing but the basement on steroids. That's
Wow.
what's really kind of cool about it, because there's some really mainstream stuff and there's some really kooky stuff. I really enjoyed watching this guy have this prismatic rotating disc visual synthesizer thing.
Wow.
And it was like the optical version of the turntable with the magnets that a lot of people saw at SuperBooth for the drum machine. So seeing that kind of stuff is just great, and just talking to the people that put that together, their passion for their project and their enthusiasm for music in general and electronic music specifically, that's really, really, really cool.
But I bet SuperBooth didn't have the giant penis guitars, right? So.
No.
That's an amp specialty.
I'm trying to think. Were there any guitars there, Henrik and Tim? I don't remember seeing a guitar that I can think of.
There were guitars, especially bass guitars.
Yeah.
And synthesizers, they controlled synthesizers. Yeah. So it was there.
Mm-hmm.
But the room that was the pro audio room, if anyone went to that this year, last year was for guitars. It was actually they had a guitar show just in that room, and so you sort of had to cover your face when you went in, just so no one saw you going in to look at the guitars. So.
It was where the Audis interfaces and headphones were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were that back of that hall on the left side, right? When you went around the corner.
Yeah, on the balcony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But boy, was it overload? Yeah, it was overload. It was cool because I ran into some very unexpected people. A gentleman whom I worked with at Yamaha 30 years ago was down near Arturia selling his theremin, which is very, very, very cool. So I got to catch up with Nori Ubukata, who is a very talented and out there sound designer. And I'm going back next year. So Andy, start saving your money.
Yeah, well, definitely. What's special about his theremin? Does he have any weird thing?
Well, what's nice about it is that if you so choose, he has a multi-regional pressure sensor on the side that you can use in addition to or in lieu of one of the antennas.
Nice.
So you can go back and forth between being more traditionally played from some weird technique, but you can alternate the two. It's got a very nice oscillator design. It was pretty cool.
So it's a little bit like that. The stylophone guys have that theremin with the ribbon on it, kind of like that a little bit.
Not quite, because this is literally like a ribbon squeeze thing that's on the side underneath the vertical antenna, but it's called the Theresin.
Oh, nice.
All nice custom made wood and stuff, and that was fun. And of course, that was 2 booths over from Arturia, who cost me a lot of money when I got home. Technically, I ordered it from the show, so I guess it cost me money when I was there. Because the Polybrute 12 is very, very interesting. I've talked about it a lot on the other shows, but what's really cool is the expressiveness. They've done a really good job literally just kind of building it in. You can make a patch, then you can hit a couple of switches on the mode you want to use, and then that behavior is already there. Which for someone like me who does a lot of sound design, I just thought each patch, that saved me a half an hour of work on each one, setting up all the modulations to do that kind of stuff. But it was really cool, very dynamic. And I like the color in person a lot more than I thought. So when I get it, hopefully it'll be between these two.
I skipped the Arturia booth, perhaps because I know I will never be able to afford the Polybrute 12. So I wasn't that interested in it.
You don't want to be teased, right? So.
Well, what's curious about it is, hopefully, you never know if they might make a 37 key version of that keyboard on a smaller engine, being they have such a wide product range. Coincidentally, they were staying at the same hotel Robbie and I were at, so we saw them all in their T-shirts at the buffet breakfast in the morning before we headed on out.
Actually, talking about people, it's when I was walking around, I was thinking, who's that person? Is that a designer? Is that a musician? There were so many people, and they all have a background story. I was so fascinated about all the people there, and all those different types. It's both like going to the European sound contest. All the people of Berlin are, not all, but a lot of them are dressed in a special way, and some are she's and he's, and some are something else. And that's a world I'm not used to see. But there are lots of people, and everybody has their story, and I would love to
see Schneider running
everyone.
around.
What?
Schneider, was he there?
Yep. Yes. Yeah.
He's always animated.
It's very.
Yeah.
What's the thing is interesting is I don't know a lot of those people sight because my video watching is very minimal. But Robbie introduced me to a lot of people. One of the more interesting ones was a younger guy who codes for one of the big companies for a lot of their gear. He's a big FM fan, and on his left arm he has a tattoo, and he shows it to me and I go, oh, look at that, 1-to-1 ratio, huh? It's a waveform that distorts over time. He goes, hey. It was pretty funny. We were all discussing the quirks and personality of algorithm 4 on the DX7, as one would do.
It's a deep conversation. Yeah, it's.
And the guy in the blue shirt, I think it was a t-shirt. I saw him everywhere. You know who I talk about.
Yeah. But I mean, I saw Nick Bat running around. I saw Starsky Carr running around. Gaz bopping around,
Williams,
talking to everybody, and it was just interesting to see all the people in there. And True Cuckoo shaved, but still with the skateboard. That was impressive because I don't know how he rode it in the dirt, but it was just a really cool vibe. I mean, it's a drag; it's a little far away, but hey, I look at the justification turning into a vacation, so it worked. It worked for me.
Is the blue T-shirt guy the Behringer guy? Is that a Behringer T-shirt?
Oh
no, that was someone else. But that was a great T-shirt.
that was great.
Yeah, wasn't it boring or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, Behringer. Yeah.
I shall hide the Behringer piece of equipment behind me. So.
Yeah, I got a bunch of it. It's not.
Not here. It's not here.
Yeah, me
It's
too,
not.
me too.
It's not the products as much as the owner, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's the
So,
But one of the things that was nice is right in the main hall when you came in there, I mean, yeah, you had the big obvious presence of seeing the Korg PS3300 prototype there, but the better part is off to the side they had those interesting electromechanical acoustic instruments, and the first booth there was a company that had that horizontal continuous controller like thing in there. So it's like you hit there right there, and it's like already alternate stuff. I mean, the two
Did you try that
instruments.
Korg one? The Korg
But-
one looks interesting.
Which one?
The Korg
oh.
electromechanical thing?
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's version 8, still a long way from production, but what's interesting about it is it comes with a whole bunch of these different shaped wood pieces that once you set up the thing, you can put these wood pieces on the resonating tines, and that will cause damping of various parts of it. So if you set up a sequence with it, and then you take these things of different lengths with different little projections on it, you can put them in, take them off, and like do this whole real time tonal and syncopative manipulation of the 8 steps that it goes through on the sequences as it's playing the things. Yeah. I thought it'd be much better if they were bones, but heck, it'll work.
Yeah, watching people playing that was really fun and listening to, and it sounded great. But when I then listened back to the concert they did in the auditorium, and they did a demonstration for 20 minutes or something, it was like, this is like listening to a synth that has one cool patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make slight variations, but it's a nice sound, but it's one sound. I mean, I suppose you could argue a piano only has one sound, but it's a little bit more variety and expressiveness than the. But
it sounds like
I'm
something
interested to see
it's
where
in
the
the hands of
technology
the
goes
creative person to make it more interesting, right? Like you said, different materials,
right?
Yeah. Yes.
different treatments. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely cool. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the engineering on it is pretty impressive, especially in this packaging size that it is.
Like Paul Vaux made with his vibrating stuff for guitar, the electromagnet stuff. He's put those over kalimbas and stuff, and they sounded amazing. So you got to think outside the box sometimes and make it more interesting.
Yep.
And another thing, I still have this.
Yeah.
You're distorted. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're still it's
It's
like
a new effect you
your
picked up at
phantom power.
SuperBooth.
Yeah.
When you're somewhere in a foreign country, you have to buy stuff to I can't remember what I wanted to say, and it doesn't.
Yeah, it's souvenir. Nothing wrong with
So-
souvenirs.
Yeah.
Let's hear, Manny, if it's better now.
Is this any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, back.
I don't know if it was your phantom power or something like that.
You mean the Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just a cable that got a little squirrely. Gonna have to track that down later. But what else was neat? I got to crash the Korg PS3300. That was fun.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, it was sounding really good. I was doing some really neat stuff, playing around with the resonator section of it, and it started glitching a couple notes, and then it got better, and then it started glitching a couple notes, and then it shut down, and I politely put down the headphones, turned and walked away quickly.
So it's unfinished, basically. Is that what it is?
It's still very much a prototype.
Yeah.
They interface it. One of the mornings I was there before they even opened up, and was watching their lead guy up there with a laptop, making sure it was all loaded up and doing fun stuff. But it's still very proto.
But have you ever tried keeping the headphones on and walking to the next one?
Thankfully, no, I did not do that. One of the things that I thought was really nice, I tried to make quite a lot of the presentations in the auditorium, and the one that Super Critical did was very nice. They're something sixth. But that was quite an interesting piece of gear. It's analog, multi-timbral, six voices.
is that the
and
Redshift one?
Yeah, the Redshift. Yeah, the Redshift
Yeah.
6. Yeah, that was actually a really, really, really cool piece of gear. I thought that was nice. I played the Murmux for quite a long period of time, and despite the jokes about the carpet, that is one of those synths that, looks can be deceiving on how it sounds and behaves when you play with it. And that's the thing that was just like nice about this. It was still small enough that, you didn't feel bad if you tried to monopolize a piece of gear for 20, 30 minutes. You know?
Yeah, it was like there's people I always try and go back and see in every year. And one of them is the Schmidt synthesizer company.
Yep.
And I got there I went there on the last day, and the room was just so quiet. They gave me a half-hour run-through of everything on the synth.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's really cool to have that. And they told me it's on special. And
It was on show special, yes it was.
They did have a show special. It was only €19,999 for the duration of the show.
That's a steal.
Steal. So, yes.
Hey, man, I know you're a fan of the Nina. What'd you think of the Delia?
Mixed feelings.
Is it the same with a keyboard, or is it actually more?
No, it's completely different. It's completely different. It is you could argue it's a more versatile synthesizer. It's a VA hybrid. So it's got a nice architecture in terms of the synth engine. For me, the mixed feelings are the 4-octave keyboard and the price point, which is I think $2,500 or $2,600, I recall. And I just thought they kind of missed the mark a little bit for 6 voices, that form factor and that price, at least compared to the Nina and other things that are out there. It sounds very, very, very good. And, I got a nice heads up on it to check it out from Drew Schlesinger, who did a lot of the presets for it. And
Does it still have the fancy encoders
Yep.
that are motorized?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. And I got to tell you, that is one of the key selling points of Melbourne stuff, because when you look at sort of the complexities that you put into these dual or multi-timbral patches, knowing where the knobs are when you go back between the two is really useful, because the more I program the Polybrute, the more annoying it is that where's that set on the other side? At least the Nina and the Delia, every time you're there, shows them right there. And it does some more interesting morphing and things like that. But yeah, I just thought they kind of missed the mark with the 6 notes and the 4-octave for me anyway. But it sounds really, really, really good.
One of the announcements I saw that was cool was you guys know Mach. They do the Wave Razor and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they had a module file that just discontinued. And I have the software version before the module.
You can do it. You put it in the bitbox now.
Yeah, 1010. Now you can put it in the bitbox. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great.
I forgot to. I wanted to before I went there. I wanted to make a video about the carpets, but I forgot that.
Or at least linoleum or something. Wood floor,
Yeah. And Tim, you don't know about it, but Andy Synth Addict, he made a video from NAMM, a live stream a few years ago where. Or was it a live stream?
Basically, I was being polite. I was waiting to talk to Ken Flux Pierce for the first time at NAMM. This is 2020. And I, whatever it was, I put the camera down. It was still streaming because I was connected to the to Kent's little pub thing. And I said, well, I'll put it down because I don't want to stick it in his face while I'm waiting for him to finish with somebody. So I was just aiming at the ground, and all of a sudden the carpet comments started flooding in, and I became the carpet guy in like a matter of minutes, whether I liked it or not. So now I do it on purpose.
Yeah, and I wanted to do it too, but I forgot.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
do ceilings instead. Just get the ceilings or something.
Yeah. Actually, I've been thinking about next year. I will keep this camera, but I will get a Insta362. So I can.
Those are fun.
Yeah, so I can edit the direction later. Direction I want to show.
Yeah, but your camera was great. It was so tiny, people didn't realize they were being filmed.
Yeah, actually. But I did make some mistakes with my camera where I didn't film people's faces, but I have them up till here.
You have the torsos.
Yeah. So, but we'll learn. Another thing, Manny, I remember, was it day 2 or day 3? Maybe day 3. You came running and shouted to me, "Come on, Henrik! You gotta see Belladonna." Uh, Tell us a little about that.
So one of the cool things is that Moog brought Lisa Belladonna out to not just be at her booth, but do the something else that was private for other people. But the important thing was she was at the booth and she did 3 performances a day on the Matriarch, the new Spectravox. And then what's the drummy thing and the other weird synthy thing. So she had 4 pieces of gear there, and she did live improvisational Lisa Belladonna performances in the booth. And I tried to catch as many of them as I possibly could because she's so phenomenal, and it was just really cool. And the reason why I asked Henrik, he had to run to hurry because it was the last one of the show. And what's cool is every single one of them was so different than the other ones, even though all the gear was the same. So she spent her time setting up for each one of them, and she is just so good at what she does. I mean, it was just amazing. Each one was like a 5, 6, 7 minute jam, and they were just great. The way she mixes stuff together, flies things in and out, interacts with the sequences, plays live over it. It was just really cool, and she is very, very talented. I got to meet her and say hi, and it was one of the cool things seeing some of the performances.
Yeah. I was going to say, on the subject of Moog, anyone else tried the Spectravox? I had to go with that. That was great fun. I mean, that's such a fun piece of gear. Although I just triggered it for the microphone because it was the one I tried was plugged into the subharmonicon, which I can never get my head around. So,
what I liked, it was very simple to get it and set up to be useful in the vocoder mode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It didn't take a whole lot of tweaking, which was nice. That was fun.
Although we did notice a certain other Moog synthesizer that didn't make it. But we shouldn't mention that. Yeah.
Did you guys try the Bullfrog at all? It looks interesting.
No, I did not.
So you're about to say, Henrik, because I interrupted you. Muted again.
I know. I was just checking my audio. I still think I'm a little lower than you are, level-wise.
Okay. And that's just because you're polite.
Yeah. But should I raise it a little bit?
A little, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Yeah. Good. And now you can hear my vent. Another thing. It was really difficult to unless you used headphones, to hear what people were demoing at the booths next to other booths. But I stumbled on one where the girl doing the demos, she wasn't playing this from the speakers. She was making the sounds with her mouth. I really liked that. She was good. A good seller.
Yeah.
Did any of you experience any weird things like that?
Not particularly. What's interesting is watching the guys do the demo on that percussion drummy thing. That's the Love Holton piece that was in the same room that the Hydrosynths were in. I can't remember the name of it, but it was the white thing with the red knobs, and it's got that very classic Love Holton look to it. That was
yes, a Swedish synthesizer. That was an orange one and the white one.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but that was intriguing because that was definitely left field.
Yeah, it was a drum machine with 5 tracks or something like that. I have it on one of my videos.
Anyone try the Chompy?
I did not. I walked by the booth and said, there it is.
It is, yeah. Keep walking.
But there is so much to see there, and
Yeah.
what's interesting is just where you sort of make choices to skip and or dive in. For anybody who's got a moderate amount of money burning a hole in their pocket, the Pittsburgh modular thing they showed, so nice, and the Taiga playing that in person, both those pieces of gear are really, really sweet.
Yeah.
What's the Volt Tone or something like that? But yeah, that was really nice. I got bogged down in that booth.
The Voltage Lab too, isn't it?
Yeah, the Voltage Lab. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I had a nice long chat with them. It was great. So,
yeah, and again, was it the Mantis? Nice to see that evolving and going farther on. So there's a lot of really cool keyboard oriented gear that's not budget busters that showed up there. So that's always nice.
Did you see Dr. Mix recreating Kraftwerk with the Mantis? That was pretty cool.
I did not see that.
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Yeah, it's good. It's clever. Yeah. Speaking of FM stuff, did you like the First Love?
So the First Love was interesting. It's a long ways away. It's a curious beast because it's just meant to be fun and twiddly.
It like just Reface DX, or what is the?
No, it's not. It's not even that far. They don't really want you to have access to that level of stuff. They don't want you to think about why is FM hard. So they kind of give you an interface that's like, play with these 4 knobs and shape the sound, and don't care too much what's going on behind the scenes. Which honestly is a reasonably good idea to do
teenage
that.
Engineering kind of stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. It's much bigger in person than it looks in the videos. I mean, it actually is about that square. It's probably like not quite as big as a Micro Freak, but almost as big as a Micro Freak.
Okay.
They think maybe in 9 months or so they'll get it out there, and I think it's going to make a lot of people happy because, I'm a hardcore sound designer, so I want access to everything. So I got to tweak everything, right? But some people just want to turn something on, make a couple of twiddle the knobs, and just say, "Oh, that's cool." And putting FM in that context is nice. Yamaha took a little bit of a page out of Korg in that the 2.0 montage firmware now lights up all the panels very similar to the Op6 to let you know what's carriers and what's modulators. So when you start throwing around the sliders to program it live from the front panel like you can do on the Op6, so they're demystifying it just to say, hey, don't care what it's doing, just move these and stop them when you like it.
Are you getting enough timbres out of it because of that limitation, or is it?
Well, I didn't spend that much time to see what it wouldn't. Look, technical answer, no.
Yeah.
Useful answer, probably. Because there's a lot of stuff that you can do with 4 controllers. To be honest with you, if they have the algorithm just set up correctly, you can do a lot of stuff with just 2 real-time controls. I mean, look what I do with the purple guy. So yeah.
How about the Wofi or Wofi, whatever it's called? Did you guys try that at all?
I did not.
No? Okay.
Yeah, it's having spent 3 days there, I'm always shocked when I come back and then watch things like the Sonic State videos and realize how much I still manage to miss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because somebody actually asked me at the end of the first day, have you seen anything cool? And I had to say, no, I haven't really seen anything at all. Just everyone wants to chat. So, so I had a lot of conversations on the first day. Didn't actually get to see or play with anything. So
I also thought I saw everything, but the video I just posted today, I only see, I walk into some tents and I only walk on one side and walk out on the other end of the tent. I don't see the other side in the tent.
Yeah.
So I missed a lot too. I thought I saw everything, but now I see I don't. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was very interesting how some of those tents had up to 6 vendors in them. So you really had to take your time. The thing that struck me most about the tents, as much as it was a great environment to see stuff, I really felt bad for some of the gear that was out there, because the second day when the wind kicked up, the pollen accumulating on the panels, I'm thinking, who's cleaning out those? Oh man, wow. Yeah, who's cleaning out the patch points on those suckers?
Yes. Some of the staff there had little brushes that they were using to try and keep the equipment clean.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so much dust.
Yes, the Crumb 2. Thank you, Wagyu. That's the drum machine. That is the Love Holton thing.
Yeah, the Swedish one. Yeah.
But
Oh,
you know,
I know it's sweet.
I even braved going inside the red and blue tent where they had all the ongoing concerts in there, and you know, every time I walked in and out, I kept thinking I was going behind the curtains of that scene from Twin Peaks at the end with the dwarf. But
Speaking backward and everything. Yeah.
but it was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, Henrik, you were saying about the sort of surreal and strange stuff you see. Perhaps there wasn't quite so much this year. I mean, the whole Toads incident was fairly weird, and saying Henrik and I saw a raccoon outside where we were staying. That was fairly weird as well. But things like, but in other years, there, it's like I'm thinking just a couple of years ago, we've just had. I'm walking through the woods and suddenly finding a Eurorack module attached by wire to a gong, and it was the EOWave Quadrant ID Swarm, which I love this, and literally they'd wired it into a transducer on a gong, and this year it was back again. They actually had it on their table this time, so you could actually play it through a gong instead of a speaker. Which
Well,
was
there is
just,
that gong speaker too that somebody makes.
yeah, yes.
Heimbach has one. It's a really weird metal speaker thing.
Yeah, but this is an actual gong though.
Wow,
but
that's crazy.
Made because given it makes metallic noises anyway, having it through a gong was fairly weird.
Yeah.
And then I was saying someone the other day that walking back through the woods that year from the bungalow door, and suddenly realizing that the people in front of you, one of them was Torsten from Tangerine Dream.
Oh wow.
You know, and it's like that's weird. And also that year, because it was mentioned yesterday, was the second anniversary of Dave Smith's passing. And I saw him at the show 2 years ago because I'd spoken to him briefly once before, and suddenly 2 years ago he greeted me like a long lost friend, and we had quite a lengthy chat because I own a Sequential Prophet X, and had a long chat about that. And I was saying that my final memory of Dave Smith at SuperBooth was seeing him having a discussion about the benefits of Japanese sake versus tequila. So you know, and that's SuperBooth. You know, that's you wouldn't get that at other music shows.
I actually ran into Paul Haslinger from former Tangerine Dream at the C15 booth at NAMM.
Oh right.
Talked to him for a little bit. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
You're muted, Manny.
Oh, right, that button. One of the things that was a little bit of a bummer was the news about Garrett Jallis of Moon Modular passing away just before the show. So that was a little bit of a drag, but they did a nice little quick memorial remembrance of him in the auditorium at the end of the first night, because it was a very similarly unexpected thing that a lot of the people that are into 5U and all the stuff he's done over the years is it was a shock because he's been huge in the synth community for a number of years. So that was a bit of a bummer. But there was so much to see. I mean, if it didn't matter what you were into in electronic music, you'd find something to occupy your time very worthwhile. I didn't go to any of the big software booths, but FL Studio was there, Bitwig was there. A lot of the big vendors were there for that. Everything from, one of the modular companies I'm very fond of that I originally encountered at NobCon. They're from Colorado. They're called Western Precision Audio, and even they make it all the way out there. And I asked Doug, I go, wow, it's a long way to come. It's like, is it worthwhile? He goes, yeah. We get a lot of gear sales. So they got, a lot of foot traffic by the booth, and the modular community is very alive and well, no doubt.
Yeah, it was ton of modular stuff.
Corey Banks were there too. Modbat modular. Ken Flux was supposed to be there, but he had to change his plan just before. So it would have been nice to meet him, but he wasn't.
Did you guys see Axel Hartman walking around?
Mm-hmm.
Is he there? Yeah.
I was commenting though. It's interesting what companies were missing. because obviously apart from the obvious one, which is Roland, who weren't there last year either, but the other ones I was thinking of that would normally be there was Make Noise and AODO and Teenage Engineering. Although Teenage Engineering done such a good job of making their equipment smaller, they may have been there and I just didn't see them. But yeah.
Speaking of small, did you guys see that
missions.
Wii noise maker thing, the PGB1? That looks kind of cool.
I don't remember that.
Pocket-sized groove box. Kind of fun stuff.
From Teenage Engineering? Oh, what?
No.
No, it's this company called Wii Noise Makers.
Mm.
I think it's an open source thing. I read a little thing about it. Looks like a little pocket calculator, basically.
Oh, the white one?
It's green.
No, it's green. Okay.
You can do the Kraftwerk song. I'm rock rider with my pocket calculator.
Yes.
What about the food and drinks on SuperBooth? Were the prices fair?
Absolutely, I thought so. I might have a warped perspective, but less expensive than NAM and better quality.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Just funny. People were horrified by the price of the beer until they realised that you could get a lot of it back by taking the cups back.
Well, so it's funny you say that, but so was it €7 for the regular plastic Carlsberg, right?
$7.50 and you get 3 back when you took it back. Yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, if I go to a sporting event here
Yeah.
in the States, okay, that's going to cost me $12.50.
Yeah.
And I don't get anything back. So it's like, I'm going $7. That's a bargain.
Exactly.
But like Robbie, my first few of them neglected to know the turn in the cup. I mean, they had a nice selection of stuff. I mean, I understand that some of the bars were better last year, but heck, how much you're going to drink? You gotta play around with gears.
Yeah. Because I don't know if anyone saw on the last newsletter that came out that all the food stuff isn't organised by the SuperBooth people. It's actually organised by the Fez sort of committee. And suddenly they had reorganised completely. So I don't know whether they'd heard that more people were coming than expected and had to reorganise. So we actually got a much bigger choice of food this year than we have had in previous years. So it has been a bit limited before. But
did they let you wander with your beers near the gear and stuff like that?
My beer never lasted long enough to try that out.
Well, I just asked because I remember Pittsburgh Module at a San Francisco thing that used to happen at this shop in San Francisco. I saw a Pittsburgh Module guy there demoing some stuff, and someone had spilled a beer on his little touch controller, and he was like, "God damn it!" So, it happens, right?
Yeah, I know that Moog normally impose a no food or drink rule in their room, but there doesn't seem to be a general rule on that.
Yeah. Some people complained about the food was not good, but I'm not sure about that.
I didn't have any complaints.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know because Tim and I we went to a supermarket before arriving, so we had food and drinks with us. So
they don't care if you bring in stuff. They don't check your bag and say this can't come in and all that stuff.
You are welcome to do that. I don't think it's looked well at if you come with a bottle of whiskey or something like that.
I was just saying, do they cut you off though? Like you only
got to bring
buy so many beers.
No.
So we had sandwiches and juice and stuff like that. We brought. So, what about T-shirts? Did any of you buy T-shirts?
I did not buy any T-shirts, but at least I finally got my Pro Synth Network T-shirt. But I did pretty good at NAMM last year for a lot of giveaway T-shirts, amongst others. So I'm pretty good on manufacturer T-shirts right at the moment.
I had to impose a ban on T-shirts this year because so this is one of the ones I got last year, the Hydrosynth. But I now have so many T-shirts. I had to say I just don't have room for any more. So someone was even offering to go and find me T-shirts. I'm going, no, thanks, it's fine. So.
My problem is they always give out tiny shirts of those things. They don't have, bigger sizes for people who aren't so small.
Yeah, my size wasn't available anywhere.
Exactly.
Evenings. Did any of you stay at? I know Tim didn't, but Manny, did you stay at the evenings at SuperBooth?
No, I did not. A couple of reasons. I had some other events I had to go to. Plus, I had to join my wife for the vacation part of our trip. So no, I did not make it into the evening much past 6:30.
Okay, but what did you do then in the evenings?
Some of them I can't talk about yet. Otherwise, just getting back and having some social time. I mean, one of the things that was very nice after one of the evenings, we had sort of a PSN get together that Carl Bedford had put together. So we got out for some good Italian food and a little bit of bar hopping. On one of the evenings before I left, had a great evening out with Mark and Cheryl Barnes. The other two nights while we were there, I was doing stuff at undisclosed locations that shall be disclosed later.
We look forward to that.
There will be
Tim?
cool things.
Tim, I know what you did, but other people may not.
Oh yeah, well yes, we were going out for meals every evening. So sometimes just RP from my house, and other times we were meeting lots of new faces as well. So yeah, we had a great time on the social front. I was going to say that the other social one I had was my flight back, because a lot of the people from the UK are based around sort of Bristol area. So I was flying back to Bristol. So on our flight, apart from me, there was a lot of the guys from UDO were on the flight. Gaz Williams, Steve Davis, and a few other people I didn't know as well, who were shouting out "Gaz" when he got on the plane.
Yeah, I also talked to Gaz on the booth, but I had to wait in queue. There was a lot of people who wanted to talk to Gaz.
Yeah,
it's very popular. So
the only time I could catch Gaz at NAMM was right when he finished a video he was shooting with Andy from Sonic State. You got to catch him in between little things like that, and then hey, Gaz.
Exactly. Tim, you also saw some special cars in Berlin.
Oh, yes. Only in Berlin. Yeah. I had a bit of a day of sightseeing at the end because we had to be out of our house by 10 o'clock in the morning, and my flight wasn't until 10 o'clock in the evening. So got some tourism things, and only in Berlin would you see a stretched Trabant. There's two of them, in fact, as well. So crazy place.
You're distorting, Manny.
You're breaking up again, Manny. So.
Yeah, I'll try to find the picture of it of that Trabant.
Yeah, so I might have it on this computer here.
Okay, you can share it.
Hold on, let's see if I can find it. Hold on, keep talking.
Yeah, when you find it on the present tab in the bottom, you can share it.
Yeah, hold on.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Still a little distorting.
A little better, but.
Yeah. And now it's nothing. We can't hear you, Manny.
I'm not talking. Sorry.
Okay.
What I was going to say is, we were watching.
It's
doing it again.
distorting very much.
All right. Let me switch the channel.
There we go. Yeah. Hold on, I found it. I'll see if I can share screen. Hold on.
I don't even remember how.
Hold on. Yeah, that's right. It's. Come on. There we go. Hey, can you see that?
I have to add it.
Okay.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is.
Only in Berlin.
Yeah.
Which one has the jacuzzi in it?
Yeah.
What kind
I
of car
think
is that?
it's in the
did-
yellow one.
It's a Trabant.
Trabant, yes.
I don't know that. Where's that from?
That was the
Germany.
East German car company, and
Oh,
you can even go to Trabant World and
Yes.
actually see all sorts of custom Trabants there. And,
We walked by that. That was the point I was going to try to make when my mic went funky. Is
Yes.
saw Trabant World. That was pretty cool.
The worst car I've been in was a Lada. They had one in Jamaica as a cab. It was Russian cars. They're just terrible.
yeah, my wife actually had a Lada at one point, still with had all the labels in Russian, so
Yeah.
that was made it like fun on the dashboard.
I have to go to the small room, so you have to talk.
I was wondering, so in general, because like when I've gone to SIGGRAPH and other big events in San Diego or LA or something like that, once the show's over, the city gets pretty crazy with all the people leaving. Does Berlin get pretty nuts when the day empties out at SuperBooth?
Well, not really, because SuperBooth, the number of people there is probably,
Pretty small.
well, it's a bit more than was last year. Last year was only 5,000 visitors.
Okay.
This year, I think possibly in 7,000-8,000, but still, that's nothing compared to like when we used to have Music Messe of Frankfurt. And there was 100,000 people.
Right.
So no, it doesn't. Berlin doesn't notice us, I don't think, particularly. But
Okay.
I was about to say, but we are some of the more colourful characters in Berlin. But that's not true, because most of the people there were dressed in black. So
Goth people. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of goth people. It's really funny. I don't know if you saw one of the performers with Sarah Summers, who dresses
All the
in
pink.
head to foot in
Oh,
pink.
right.
And she just stood out a mile among all the people in
She paints
black.
all of her gear pink and
Mhm.
pink
Yeah,
knobs
yeah.
and pink. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say, remind you, 'cause it's behind you there, is I would say the two synths I had most fun with playing at the show. One of course, was the Polybrute 12, and the other one was the Third Wave. But no one else has mentioned that in their reviews and things. And I'm wondering, is it because it has been out a little while and it wasn't new at SuperBooth? But it was the first time I had managed to get my hands on one. So, but it is a very cool synth.
Well, the module was new at NAMM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
then
were.
the sample thing is pretty new, right? The sample option,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's coming up in the next firmware, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not meant to be a sampler per se, but having that texture in it, I'm just happy you can FM the sample.
I had a blast with the module at NAMM because they had hooked to a Rolly C-board and it was incredibly expressive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it was great.
Another thing that got a lot of thumbs up was UDO offering the Poly Aftertouch keyboard upgrade to the Super 6.
Yes, I had to go on that. Yeah, it was.
And it started a lot of talk amongst a lot of other people asking other companies, hey, if they can do it, what about you? So Third Wave got a lot of those questions.
Are they using the FATAR keyboard? Is it
It's the FATAR. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite funny. It's quite funny because UDO is my local synthesizer company, but I mainly get to chat to them when I'm in Germany. So.
Wow.
Yeah, they make great stuff. They really
Oh
do.
yeah, amazing.
Behave. Dad's back.
Oh, he's back.
Shh.
Whatever we said, we didn't mean it. That's it.
Yeah. I can rewind.
So Henrik, what are your favorite and least favorite things at SuperBooth?
The least favorite was, well, it's not their fault, but everywhere I went, when it was inside, I couldn't hear other instruments because of everything was so compact. So if one said, "Do you want to hear it?" I only said, "What?" Because I couldn't hear what he said, or I wouldn't be able to hear the synth. it we needed headphones a lot of places, but again, for doing the videos I did, headphones would have was terrible. So there I wanted all the audio. So, but again, when people are demoing a synth, usually it sounds like a synth. So I don't need to hear it. I only need to know about it is being control, how it's being controlled, what you can do with it. I don't always need to hear it because we have heard it, most of it before. But the worst thing was probably the breath, people's breath.
Yeah, see, that was great about COVID. The mask, you couldn't smell breath, and now it's back. You can smell everyone's breath again.
Yeah.
Basic oral hygiene, people, and stay away from the currywurst.
Well, it's, you know,
You've
you
got
still
to have
run
COVID.
since all day. You're probably not brushing your teeth that much. So,
And what was the best thing?
ooh,
Oh,
That's tough.
yeah.
There's so many things depending on what you do or what you like to do.
But I've heard so many interviews now, and everyone gets asked the question, "What was the best thing at SuperBooth?" And every single one of them has said, "The people."
The people, yeah.
I would say that too, but actually, there's one which is a level higher, and it's being there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the same for NAMM too. The people, the event, and sometimes the gear, right?
Yeah, I have a working theory because I was at this is my fourth SuperBooth.
Oh wow.
So I was there in 2019, and then of course we were planning to go back in 2020, and it didn't happen. So we had 2 years of no SuperBooth, and at 2019, we were going around, we saw all the gear, no problem at all. But the years since COVID, everyone has wanted to talk, and now we don't get to see all the gear. But we do have a fantastic time, and it's great building up relationships. And I think, people are good. Yeah.
So you had music in tents and other places, but there were buskers that do like pop-ups anywhere that just kind of jam and stuff. Did they have that?
No, they had a number of stages though, so you got different people performing all over the place. Different people performing on the different stages at all different times. So unfortunately, I made a list before I left of the performances I wanted to see, and I managed to leave the list behind. So that's good.
Because at NAMM, you see people randomly popping up here and there just busking just because they can, and they're not famous enough. And it's kind of cool. Some of that's the best stuff, actually.
Yeah, I mean they had what two? I mean they had the tent, and then they had the main stage right on the lake. And there was a lot of variation in the acts. It was actually really cool. It was really nice, especially considering that's where most of the beer was. So
I'm still not sure about the band. I'm still not sure about the bands that were hardly using anything electronic, were all using traditional instruments and playing very atonally. Just we weren't sure whether they were tuning up or had spent too much on the beer or
yeah.
Where were you anywhere backstage? I know we were at some tents. Were you backstage somewhere?
No, not particularly.
I don't know if we should talk about it.
Well, do they have so-called after
too
parties
private.
off premises, or do they?
They do, but we weren't cool enough to be invited to those shows.
Right.
No, they did.
I cannot say.
And in fact, they had to move some of the after events because they couldn't have them anywhere near the Toads.
Well, so not secret stuff, but just in general, like corporate parties and stuff.
Some of the exhibitors had off-site things that were limited attendance, invitation only.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But I guess heard this from Robbie, or I don't know if it was in one of the pubs, whatever, but apparently the whole thing with the frogs was a really big kerfuffle at the last minute, because that Fez site has to pay attention to all the environmental rules. And when the frogs decided to use that lake in that area as their mating grounds for the season, it's like they had to come up with some solution as opposed to postpone or cancel the show. So thankfully the frogs did not kick out the event, and they had to just make sure that we stayed clear of their mating zone.
Well, at least you didn't have humans impromptu mating to make up for the Probably get that in San Francisco, but yeah.
Unfortunately, that's a bit of an issue at SuperBooth, which is at least 90% male. So it's
actually, I was surprised about. I thought it was 90% male, but I'm not sure. The first day was like that, but then there were more and more women. I was surprised how many there were. How many who were interested in synthesizers. I didn't know that.
Which is very cool. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just...
Yeah. What instrument did you want to, or module or whatever, did you want to bring home if you could? That you saw that.
Well, that's sort of an unfair answer. Because there's been some stuff I've been on the fence getting, and after seeing the whole system put together with the 2 new modules that aren't quite out yet, I have every single one of the tip-top Buchla modules in that perfect circuit box. Those just came a couple days ago. So I did come home with them.
Oh, it's the complex oscillator and the frequency shifter?
Yeah, so those aren't shipping yet, but they had them in the system, and now it's like, okay, I'm in. And I was done in because as soon as I got back, they had a Memorial Day sale. So I got 12 modules for the price of 11.
Wow. Well, the guy at the Buchla offsite at NAMM told
breaking up.
me that there are way more to come.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
he told me that there are way more to come from the Buchla side.
So I figure I better start now if I'm ever going to get my college electronic music lab system back up and running. So there you go.
Did you have a Buchla 100? Is that what you had in college?
No, we had a 200 system, and
Really?
it was fully loaded. It was 5 panels high and about 4.5 feet wide.
Did they have an easel also?
Yep.
Wow. That's nice.
It was real fun stuff. And last time I shopped for something like that in LA to come up on the used market, it was about $30K.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Why can't you get the Vactrols? Is that because of the cadmium in them? Why go?
Cadmium sulfide, yeah, you can't get those in Europe.
Well, I'll taunt you with mine. I bought 2.
Well, now that other module makers are putting non-cadmium things in products, they should be able to get around that, I would hope.
No, too funny.
Yeah, I think for me the equipment, well, obviously the Polyboot 12 I'd like to have brought home the third wave, but I have actually but I haven't got room or finances for those, but I have now bought the Hydrosynth Explorer, which is, and it's on way, hasn't arrived yet, but bit behind the times with that.
It's actually quite good.
Yeah, because most of the gear I've bought recently has been sort of like semi-modular stuff. I've got the West Pest and the Strega, things like that, and making interesting combinations. So been doing experimentals. It'd be nice to do something that's actually got a keyboard.
The cheapest thing you would like to bring home from SuperBooth, what would that be?
Cheapest.
Not necessarily the cheapest, but a thing you would like to bring home, which is the cheapest one.
Ooh.
I thought of this one. It was quite nice.
Oh, yeah.
It had MIDI out.
I have those. They're nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
One's wireless, one's wired.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, not cheap though.
The only problem is the modulation's done with buttons. So you have to get really good with the pressure on the buttons to get the full expression out of it. But it is there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's poly aftertouch.
And they're poly aftertouch. But the travel is very, very slight. So again, that expression is a little tricky as well.
Yeah, of course it's not as good as a real keyboard.
But they're super portable. I carry them around a lot. So.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking together
and
with
that with an
MacBook.
iPad is a cool little portable system. It's amazing.
Yeah.
For me, that answer would be the Supercritical Redshift 6. It's like I say, I think it's not cheap, but it's fairly priced and sounds really, really, really good.
I can't remember exactly what it is. I'm sure I've seen it. Can you explain?
Well, it's a 6-ways to analog synthesizer. It's in a desktop format, but they have some really nifty oscillator modes in it, and some really cool multi-mode filter implementations and a nice mod matrix. So it's
weird hexagonal buttons too.
Yeah. So it just sounds really, really good. And like I said, I don't swear to this, but I think it was like $1,600 for a 6-note all analog desktop. That's pretty good.
One thing I fell for, which was very special, you talked about it, Manny, the man with the 3 discs, where it was like R2D2s talking together. It was so fantastic. I was so fascinated.
I was really bummed because I picked up, he gave me his business card, was that little triangular metal piece, and they confiscated it at the airport. I was really pissed.
Okay.
Because it had sharp triangle edges on it. So I guess they thought that they could use it as a weapon.
A shuriken?
That was and that's the kind of thing that was cool, is when you go down and you go to all the modular oriented vendors, is just seeing how they implement their vision of what's basic technology for a lot of these things, but put a nice little twist on it that gives some behavior controllability or soundscape possibilities that the one next door doesn't, because you think, how different can all these modules be? And they might overlap, but a lot of them significantly do different things. And it's really cool to have all those let's call them flavors at your disposal to build a system.
Yeah, there was also the guy in a tent with those pyramid shaped synthesizers. It was
I walked by that one quickly. I did not spend time in there. They did look interesting.
Yeah. He also had a string I think it was being played. I just couldn't see where it was played from, but with some relays with the pin on, so when they were sucked down, they touched the string, and meanwhile there was a step motor which tuned the string all the time, and it was a fantastic setup. I was very fascinated. It very robotic, very what do you call it? Cyberpunk or something like that.
Hey, Henrik, here's the X-Key Air. It comes with a cool little padded bag.
Yeah.
So you can carry it around. It's really nice.
Yeah, nice. But he did sell some modules, the man with the pyramid shaped synths. But they were not pyramid shaped. Those modules, they were for normal Euro rack.
I was asking, did you guys see a lot of homemade stuff or stuff that wasn't expected like that? Just weird
I
prototypes
only
or
saw
something?
those two, the pyramid shaped and the man with the discs.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see more.
Yeah, there's a lot of modular manufacturers like that who obviously are like building on their own kitchen table or something. I was going to say one little cool thing I saw, which was a cheap one, which was it was only a 2 HP module with a display on it in LEDs, but it was so you could get like this grid of pattern which could look sort of rainbowish, but it was designed for showing things like notes and voltage levels and stuff like that, so you can sort of easily keep track of what your piece is doing, which was quite a handy little tool. So that's probably the cheapest thing I saw that would be nice to have.
What do you call it? Merchandise when they give something away. I don't know what you call it. I remember Clavis. They had a really good thing they gave away, a beer opener. Did you find any small gifts, funny gifts around?
I don't think I really looked. Hey, I got some of the swag bags you got. I mean, heck, I got a patch cable. I always like a patch cable, a couple of stickers. What else? But no, I wasn't into collecting stuff as I went around.
Yes.
I used to do that at NAMM. Then I get home with this big bag of stuff that I would look at once, and then sit in the corner till next year. I'm going, what the heck? I mean,
Yesterday I throw out a lot of brochures I got. I didn't need them. So yes, you sometimes you tend to take everything and you don't need everything. You seldom need anything.
Yeah.
but overall, I think they do a really good job. I mean, I can see why it's popular, and I see why people travel all over Europe to go there. And I'm definitely planning on being back there next year. Not sure I'm going to stay in the same hotel again, but it was fine. But if you want to be in a more hopping place, you can go a couple extra train stops down, or the whole Airbnb thing is interesting as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not bagging on our hotel. It was fine. But there's more economical ways you can do it. For me, the worst part is there's no direct flights into Berlin from LAX. And so we have to do a stopover in Frankfurt, and we almost missed our connection. And it was no fun running through the airport and having to go through immigration, back through security, and from literally the 2 farthest terminals as could be humanly possible in the airport. And that was sort of a drag, but a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
I can recommend a hotel for your stay next year. That's where I stayed.
Okay. Nice.
You know it.
Let's have the 80s theme rooms, right?
Yes, American style motel.
American theme. That was the American theme.
And it's great. Where Henry, and I was staying in an Airbnb 200 yards from that. But it's great. We've learned from experience. We were staying literally 5 miles away from the site. And I think it basically takes us about 15 minutes to get in each day by car. Whereas the first year we went, we stayed in an Airbnb in West Berlin, and it took like an hour commute by car each way every day. So that wasn't pleasant.
Now, I will say, from where we were staying for sightseeing that we wanted to do, we were actually in a very, very good place for doing that, because we could walk to Checkpoint Charlie, the old Brandenburg Gate, all the government offices, all the various Berlin Wall exhibits and stuff, Alexanderplatz, into the park and all that kind of stuff. So we were very central for that. So that actually was very convenient. But little hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to answer some questions in the chat, so just keep talking.
So I made a. I made a list of everything that I thought was interesting at the show, which I think we've just about covered, haven't we? Yeah. So.
About the biggest safety tip I can give you is make sure you check that the booth you're trying to get food from is actually operational when you get in line. Because Robbie told the story of us sitting in the line for the okonomiyaki and not knowing after we'd been there for 30 minutes that the power had went down in the boot and that actually shut down, which is why the line stopped moving.
Yeah. Yes.
What will you prepare for next year?
More sunscreen.
Yeah. Let's hope it gets sunny next year. It was really sunny this year.
Yeah. It's that's not the hottest it's been there, which is it's a very unpleasant because there's no aircon in the building. So yeah, it gets very unpleasant. I say 2019 was very hot and everyone was in the building that year. So they only spread out into the woods because of COVID. So so yeah, it was very hot and very cozy. Yeah. So yeah, yes, it's yes, I think done fairly well. So always made sure had plenty of water and sunscreen and and walking boots.
Yeah,
lots of walking.
I just wished you could take that little train from the train station to the venue. It'd be really convenient, but it
one of our friends did.
Really?
She caught it.
You did? No kidding.
I've never seen it run before.
Yeah, I saw it pass by a couple of times. I said, "That's so cute." It reminds me of the little train we used to take our kids on at the Santa Barbara Zoo.
Yeah, we.
Do any of you know what the building was made for? Is it a cultural house for Eastern Berlin?
So it was a youth centre. So that's why. So it was a combined youth centre and sports centre, which is why it's got a swimming pool. But they also had an education centre to teach young people about space.
Yeah.
So there is actually a room in the building which wasn't in use this year, which is set up to look like the inside of the International Space Station.
I did
film
some of them.
And 1 year Arturia were in there. The room that Roland were in last time they were there had those spinning things that you put a person in the middle of, and then it can spin in 3 different axes of rotation, and probably throw up as a result. So yeah, so there's a lot of space stuff in there. They've got a bust of Yuri Gagarin and models of various rockets around the place.
Well, the space station room, they should have a Buchla demo in there. That's perfect for it.
Yeah, yes.
Equipment blends right in.
Yeah, and the other thing they used it for was that the auditorium was a concert venue for East Berlin, so they would hold orchestral concerts there. And they also used it for, and this is one of my favourite stories of the building, they used it for recording orchestral works as well. But because the building wasn't air conditioned, and because classical instruments are a little bit susceptible to humidity levels, what they would actually do is that they would put the orchestra on the stage, they'd bring in the audience they had audience there while they were doing the recording, and then they would sit there with hygrometers and wait until the humidity reached the perfect level, and then they would start the recording. So it is a completely insane building, but yeah, it was very multi-purpose. So
that's that famous German precision, right?
Yes. So it was East Germany, interesting place.
And so if 4 people sneezed, they had to stop it, not because of the sound on the tape, but because humidity went up 0.2.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah, so,
no sweating allowed. No.
Or farting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I bet they couldn't have imagined what we'd be using the auditorium for now, doing performances with modular gear and stuff. But
That's funny. Well, it sounds like from what you guys said, they should have a mandatory like Banaka blast at the gate when you get your ticket. Everyone gets a nice spray in the mouth. So
yeah, it was,
Too funny.
I have to admit, I hadn't noticed the issue before until Henrik raised it, and it's like trouble is because there's so much noise going on, people are talking quite closely, and of course, also could say that some European countries take less notice of personal space than others, so I'm quite happy to get very close.
But did any of you catch any cold after that?
No, I was just
Oh,
no.
me neither.
My problem was that I got heat stroke. I'd had heat stroke just before leaving to go there, and then was feeling pretty rough with it again on the day I arrived, and that led to a couple of nights of lack of sleep. So I ended up. So by the time I got to like end of Sunday, I was struggling to stay awake, but it took quite a few days to recover. But no colds.
Yeah, I usually have a rhythm where I sleep an hour or two after getting home from work, and that was completely destroyed while I was there. So I was also very tired on the last day.
Yes.
Well, thankfully, I didn't notice the tired because I was jet lagged the whole trip, so that was an arbitrary thing. But no, the only thing I suffered from was loud talking, scratchy throat. After you've been yelling at people over the music for a couple of hours, at the end of the day, you got the rasp. Talking like Harvey Firestein.
Yeah, when you have to shout loudly, I said, it doesn't have a volume control. So.
But good time. Highly recommended. 2 thumbs up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I will probably fly next time. Sitting on a bus for 8 or 9 hours, it's not fun. Especially on the way home, where it's like the septal tank. It was like it was overflown downstairs in the toilet, so it smelled terrible.
Yeah.
So that was probably better than the smell at SuperBooth, or not?
No. No, at SuperBooth you could go outside. You couldn't do that in the
that's
bus.
true. Yeah.
So I'll probably fly next time or take the train. But
NAMM is kind of difficult too because there's a lot of body odor at NAMM. So.
I don't think that was so bad here. Only the breath, the body odor was okay. Or maybe I didn't talk to those people. I don't know. Or perhaps I smelled more than those. Who knows?
You just notice that it goes wafting by as you're walking around and go, oh boy. So.
But Paul Artola, no, I do not think Music Messa is anymore. I think SuperBooth
it has gone. I was at I was at Music Messa in 2018, and when there were very few synth manufacturers there. It was very, very poorly attended. But there was but what they had instead was an entire hall full of pianos, and apparently it was horrible on the night before when they were setting up to have like something like 1,500 pianos being tuned. They said by the time they finished, everyone's nerves were on edge.
But Music Messa, that was more for music shops, and SuperBooth was more for the users.
But Music Messa just covered everything. I mean, when you have like a whole hall of string instruments, and a whole
it's
hall
like
of
NAMM,
drums.
band instruments and exotic instruments.
The scale of it though was just enormous. I mean, that was 13 exhibition halls, I think it was.
Whoa.
Yeah, and spread over a mile. From end to end. So it was a lot of walking.
Wow, sounds like a CES back in the glory days.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah. Wagyu said the last thing I remember was Music Festival was the Valkyrie, which turned into the Kira. That may have been my fault, by the way. I apologise to anyone who laments that one, because the guy who made the Valkyrie said to me, "Is there any other synth companies here? Anything worth going to look at?" And I said, "Well, there's not much here, but Waldorf are here."
Yeah, they never got the Stromberg. It was always a mock-up.
Yeah, so that may be my fault. Sorry. Yeah, it's
How long did it take you to feel normal again after SuperBooth?
I'm not quite there yet. I'm almost.
that was it. Yeah, it was at least more than a week, I think, because it was
Yeah.
I was not in a good way by the end of it. So and having that very, very long, I had a 19-hour day on the Sunday.
Yeah. I mean,
after SuperBooth, that wasn't fun.
I mean, for me from California, I don't think I got used to Europe time. Oh, until we were there for like the 12th day, because we stayed a week after, and
Right.
about 2/3 of the way we finally were on European time. Then of course 3 days later I come back, and so I'm almost back. I'll be good next week, but yeah, it was a schlep, that's for sure. But totally worth it. Totally worth it.
But you went to Japan a bunch of times for Yamaha, right? Then you have to adjust real quickly for that.
In a weird way, Japan is easier because the difference is more dramatic. If you essentially push yourself to stay awake the entire time and do like the 20-hour day.
That's what I always do, yeah, when I go there. Yeah.
You get there, you're exhausted, so you can kind of sleep in. So after 2 years, 2 days of just like waking up way too early, it kind of comes around. Coming back's harder from Japan.
Yeah.
But I found that if I just exhausted myself going over, you can come back. Actually, it was, I think I'm under, yeah. There are certain medications that can help the return trip really well.
Wow.
And they helped a lot until I became allergic to them.
Yeah.
So that's a drag. But no. Seriously, you should consider going. You would enjoy it.
Yeah. And we need someone recording the carpets.
Or the grass.
I'll do the grass. Yeah, I'm a nature
The sand,
guy.
the gravel.
I'll do the frogs, too.
Sand,
I'll
yeah.
cover the frogs. I'll do the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, the sand. I hate walking through sand.
Yeah, that was a drag. Yeah, it was one of the main entrances in. It was also one of the ways to the place with the good burgers. But
So bungalows, is that sand or is that dirt?
dirt.
Yeah.
So it's
There's
a
just-
constant cloud of dust everywhere because of the...
Yeah,
No, they watered it down in the mornings to make sure it wasn't too bad. It was just the tree pollen, because there's tons of trees that were just spreading their gametes to the wind.
It's a giant orgy of trees, right? There's
Yeah,
sperm
basically,
everywhere in the wind, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But what can you say? It's like it's a unique event, but it's fantastic if that's your thing. You like electronic music, you got to put it on the list to do at least once.
Yeah.
Kind of like a NopCon, same kind of thing.
And one of the other great things which helps people of our age is that there doesn't seem to be any sort of age thing about it. It's you get there's people there in their 20s right up to people in their 70s.
Yeah, I was gonna say 17 to 70 is kind of the demo.
Yeah, and and people are chatting away with each other. I had a guy who was a DJ in his like 20s saying, "Oh, what you do is so cool," and it's like, "Oh, hold on a minute, this is really I don't get this at all." So, yeah, it's that's one of the great things about it as well. I can't think of anything else quite like it.
Mm-hmm.
And also meeting the people you usually know from online and probably and maybe haven't met. For example, I knew Tim, but I never met Tim. I thought he was a dry guy. He was the funniest guy I've ever met.
Yeah. It's when we were suddenly meeting people for the first time in real life and looking down, going, "I didn't realise you had legs. I had no idea."
Yeah. But it was it. Yeah. I will remember this for a long, long time. I will. It was a great show, a great booth. I will repeat it. I hope it will be as good next year. At least I know what to go for.
Yeah.
When I'm there.
Yeah, I think this was possibly the biggest one so far. Because 2 years ago it was the first one back after NAMM, and in fact somebody there was quite surprised that I turned up because they thought for the first one they would only get people from Germany. So that was a bit smaller, but it's definitely growing, and it's gone well beyond the original plan of modular stuff. So.
Are the fees consistent, or do they have expensive classes like NAMM does, where you have to pay for fancy tickets and all that?
No, I thought it was very reasonable. The workshops were nominal. I mean,
So a little extra charge, but not crazy.
Yeah, I mean it was the same or less than Synthplex. You know.
Yeah. It's gone up a little bit from last year, but only by inflation. So yeah. No, fairly reasonable on that front.
That's just Henrik muting.
Yes. Every time it happens,
click?
Some of the background noise disappears, and I suddenly think something's gone wrong.
That's to get your attention, so you have to what?
Yes.
Cool. But anyway, yeah, it was nice to do, and I enjoyed watching all the various wrap-up videos. Looking forward for things to come out that went on there behind the scenes, because there's going to be some neat stuff in the future. And fun time to be in synthesizers.
Was there so much going on it was hard to see what you wanted to because they're all simultaneous?
For me, no, because I have some pretty narrow filters of what's of particular specific interest. For me, you'd have a harder time because you're much broader in what you're looking out.
Yeah, too much random stuff.
So because I have very specific things I'm looking for synths. I don't quite have your ADD approach to the synths.
I probably skipped the live stuff in lieu of catching all the gear, but catch some live stuff when I could, kind of thing.
Yeah. And actually, that was one of the things that was nice. I think I sat for 6 of the auditorium sessions where the various manufacturers did stuff with their gear.
They're all quite short, aren't they?
They're only 20, 25 minutes. The one that went the longest of the ones I did was probably the one with Matt Johnson doing the Yamaha thing, but he was the last one on the last day. So, he could kind of hang on a little bit there. And of course, listen to him play was just fantastic.
Did they record this for the public, or is it only for the SuperBooth people? So.
I don't know. That's a good question.
So sorry, I missed what you said there.
If whether or not
all the live performance, all the seminars and stuff, were they recorded for the public?
Yes, you can see them online.
You can.
Yeah.
Is there a SuperBooth YouTube channel, or what's the?
or on their website.
Go to superbooth.com and go into the media.
Oh, okay, cool.
But they're on YouTube under. I'm not going to try and spell it, but it's the Sprash concert.
Oh wow!
And basically, it's a demonstration and concert somehow combined in a word.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll check that out.
So actually, Andy, I have a question for you, because you got to do something that I would have loved to do if it didn't conflict. Is tell me about the Karma 50th anniversary stuff and the getting over there to see and hear Dr. Chowning do his
Before I
performance.
forget, let me put that back in. Oh, actually, I can't put links in here. I'm not an admin. Am I? Oh yeah, I am. Yeah. So here's the link to the actual 3-hour show that I went to. If you guys want to watch it, the opening you have to scan through a bit, because they had technical difficulties, but it's about 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a similar page that has the program with all the notes and information about all the composers and stuff, what they used.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool because only knowing so much about FM and digital synthesis in general, even though I like it a lot, I didn't know. I'd forgotten it was invented in the '60s.
Mhm.
And in fact, one of the early performances he played, mostly chronologically, in the video you see. And there's a 1969 performance, so basically right after Switched on Bach, of amazing FM synthesis by this French guy. It's unbelievable. I think it's the second one he plays in the show. And then later on, Chowning plays one of his from the 80s, made with that little, what's that thing called? Something box. Don't want to blank on the name of the custom computer they had built for synthesis. It's all command line stuff. He said, I asked Chowning at the end of the performance, I said, how long did it take you to make that piece? He goes, about 3 or 4 months.
Typing the code.
Coding, recording. I mean, it's a really nice piece, but holy smokes. In the 80s, something taking that many months just sounds nuts, right?
Yeah.
But that's what they had to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting show, and get to talk to him for the first time ever. And I actually sat next to one of the composers who was doing. He was working just before he made the piece. He was living in France, and he was working with Pierre Schaeffer, all the musique concrète stuff. And so his piece that he played there is part musique concrète and part FM synthesis, and some analog stuff in there as well. I think it's a really wild, evolving piece. And it's funny because I asked him. I said, because all the people in the front were special guests, except for the one seat to the right, which I was able to grab. It wasn't marked, and I didn't know who these people were. And I said, "Oh, do you have something in the show?" Not knowing who he was. And apparently, he's in the Karma thing. He's kind of a famous guy, and I'm just sorry, hey, I'm not in this realm. So, but it was a really interesting thing. So definitely, and it's long, and some of the music is really esoteric. But it's fascinating. There's a lot of Q&A back and forth that Chowning goes back and forth with some people, and some of the people come up and talk about their piece before they play it because they're actually there. So you learn a lot, I think. Also, the open house that day, or actually those 2 days, was phenomenal because, as Manny saw, the programmer was actually turned on. The GS1 wasn't turned on, but the GS1 programmer was turned on, and that was kind of fun. In fact, one of the videos they showed at performance at the end of the first open house day, they used that programmer in a joke video about AI, and doing AI and EEG composed music is very funny. So check it out.
You lost your audio, Manny.
Yeah, you're buzzing again.
Yeah. You should have brought that cable home from SuperBooth.
Also, on a funny side note, a friend recently just sent me another link for this wild. Did I lose the link already? It's an old musique concrète stuff done with water drop recordings from 1955. It was a trip, but I have to find it now. I lost track of it here. It sounded like synthesis. It didn't sound like samples.
What was the worst thing you saw there? You can return to that, Andy. But what was the worst thing you saw at SuperBooth? I think, and it's a personal thing because others may love it, but I hate resonating things. So the thing next to where they sold T-shirts in the hall, that resonator keyboard, I hated it. Next to the stairs.
Glass resonator, yes.
Yeah. And And when standing and talking to people and those resonating sounds came, it was really annoying. I know some will love it, but it was not me. What do you think of that, Manny?
I thought that stuff was cool, actually. One of the things I appreciate more and more is oddball acoustic instruments. Just because it's nice to see a physical embodiment of some of the weird stuff that I've been trying to do in electronics. So it's neat to see somebody actually go out there and build some of that stuff. To be honest with you, I some of the pieces are just from an artistic standpoint gorgeous on their own.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I can understand if you're trying to have a conversation at home with a group of friends that every single time you hit a note, the whole thing goes off. Yes, that could be annoying. But I actually sat and watched them play those two things right next to the stairs a couple of times for about 10, 15 minutes. And it's cool just because it's just so different.
Okay, I have skipped that video. I haven't uploaded that, but perhaps I should. Though I hate it.
Yeah, and I'm at the point that I don't dislike anything. It just might not be for me.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, everyone's got taste and everyone's got different things they're into, and things change over time, all that kind of stuff. Just like with food or listening to music or whatever. But I think as synthesis people should be more open-minded to some of this weird shit, because people say, "Oh, I'm so tired of the same old analog filters, the same old oscillators, the same old whatever." Here's something new comes along, they go, "Oh, that sucks." I'm like, "Well,
right.
Want something new
or don't?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it just proves the point you can't please any of the people any of the time. So
right.
Yeah. I think that's one of the number 3 at the top of the list of human needs: eat, sleep, bitch.
Yeah. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah, bitch is number 3.
Yeah. In terms of things I didn't like, and I should say I really love the company Soma and the stuff they do. In fact, the Soma Terror was actually my favorite thing to play last year. That was amazing. But I didn't try it, but I really can't get my head around this new keyboard they've made where you play it with a magnet in your hand. You've seen this, which they were demonstrating. That's just seems very weird. Some sort of it sounds like a strange theremin.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, some people just get lazy. They want something new, but then they don't want to learn how to play it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Osmos. A lot of people bitch about the Osmos, but you have to learn how to play it.
Yeah.
Or Rolly Seaboard. You have to learn how to play it.
I've got the Rolly. It takes time, but that's it. Yeah, the Soma Flux. That's it. Thank you in the chat. Yes, did look very strange, and perhaps it was just the demos they were doing, but it didn't sound that impressive. But, time will tell. Hopefully, we'll get people do interesting things with it. Yeah. And the other thing I didn't like, of course, is the fact that there's a whole load of things I'd like to buy there and can't afford. That's a different issue entirely.
Yeah, and there was a thing I really liked. I uploaded a video of it today, and I also told the lady if I bought that, the lady presenting it, if I bought that, my wife would kill me.
You can't come home, right? So
yeah, it would fill the room. It was a big thing. So that was terrible too, that I couldn't get that one. The big white thing that made the pinks. Yeah, it was a huge machine, and it said ping, ping.
Yes.
But they did have a massive version of that. What was that? I mentioned the name earlier. What was that synth called? The Richie Houghton thing. They made like a massive version of that. What's it called again? Man, my brain is fried. Where is that? I'm trying to find the link for it. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show.
While you're looking for that, the discussion about the plasma drive, I have one there. So it's
Oh, the bullfrog. That's it. The giant bullfrog.
oh right.
They made a huge version where the knobs are like this big. You know.
Did anyone see that? Well, speaking of which, did anyone see the 10 base stations wired together? That was quite interesting. And
Didn't see that.
innovation, they had 10 base stations on the wall in a big circle, and they'd MIDI'd them all together and had them being controlled from one keyboard and one giant knob that you could rotate, which was the mod. I think it was the mod wheel. Lost you again,
Yep.
Manny.
Oh, Manny,
Yeah.
you're Daleki again.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's power supply.
Yeah, it could be.
Say
Yeah.
exterminate.
Maybe it's time to take it back and get it fixed permanently.
Did you guys play the Sima Forma thing and all? That thing looks amazing. The alt.
I know the name.
Which one,
but
sorry?
I can't
There's a bunch
remember
of
it.
sliders. It's like a box with a bunch of sliders. Has some pins. It's like a droney thing, but it sounds beautiful. I think it just finally did a Kickstarter release,
Oh, okay.
but they were supposed to be there. Doing
I
it.
think I saw it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Again, I'm just shocked how much I managed to miss after 3 days of walking.
Yeah, and one of the worst things is all the stuff you can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beer, right?
That's just being old.
Well, that too. Yeah, it doesn't help. It's all additive.
No. Don't blame yourself. Claim it was a terrible sales pitch.
That's the true additive synthesis. Is age and alcohol and everything, and your memory just gets destroyed. So.
Yeah. So.
I have found the alt here. I shall see if I can share it.
Yeah, we talked about it on a Ramsey show a while back. It was really nice.
Here it is. Can you see and hear it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I haven't shared the screen then.
Yeah, you've got to.
I don't know
yeah,
if the yeah.
Yes, there is now.
I don't know if you get the audio.
Yeah, we got it.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I did see people demo this.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
can't remember
cool.
what it's called. It does sound very cool.
Oratory thing.
That was what you were talking about, Andy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that's kind of new, but not really, but just a different package. No menu diving, no computer. Just do your thing and have fun.
Yeah.
So after SuperBooth, we're now looking forward to the next shows in the UK. So we now have 2 shows in the UK, and they're a week apart from each other. Like what? That's Synth Fest and Machina Bristonica, and they put them 1 week apart. But,
I think there are more shows in Britain than that.
well, yeah, no, but those are the 2 of the biggest. Because Machina Bristonica, they actually had as many stalls, although most of them were very small, as SuperBooth last year. But it was a 1-day event. This year they've made it a 2-day event. So
I love the name Bristronica. It makes you think of a rabbi showing up to get some work done. I stole that one from Lady Aptitude. That was her joke from a while back. So
okay, yeah.
got to give credit where it's due.
There was an event in Denmark today, a modular event. I didn't go because it's the same day as I'm streaming. I don't have the energy for all that.
We thank you for your dedication to the stream. So,
Yeah, but maybe next time, and then I will do some video from there.
yes. Oh yes, and Gearfest. I haven't made it to Gearfest yet. In London, isn't it? So.
Did you have fun doing all the videos, Henrik, or was it a chore for you? Did you?
Oh, it was. I loved it.
You liked it?
And I was really surprised that the quality was so high. I
What did you
didn't
use?
expect that.
Wasn't your phone?
No, it was this one. A DJI
GoPro
Osmo Action 3.
Oh, okay. I have the smaller one. It's got a little head like that on it,
Yeah,
and it's got as you move it, the little gimbal does this little thing.
yeah. This has a digital optimization. It's 4K, and I shot in 2.7. I only uploaded in normal HD.
Yeah.
But I can turn it around, and it's still having a stable horizon.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it didn't matter how I held it. But the problem was when I was filming something on the table from the side, it didn't really know where the horizon was.
Oh, it got confused, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still stabilized in that direction. But I have to turn it and twist it to get it right in the view. But I really think it made a fantastic. It made fantastic videos, so I will use it again, and then I will get the Insta360 to hold somewhere else.
Yeah.
Perhaps on my head.
Yeah, you just mount it on your baseball cap or something and just walk around.
Yeah, I did buy this one for the action camera, so I could wear it on my head, but
Oh yeah.
I didn't mount it.
There was someone used to show up to SIGGRAPH, and it was like Cyber Dog or something like that. And they put GoPros on the dog, and the dog would walk around the whole show, and they upload the footage from the dog's point of view. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Henrik, I apologise for the couple of times when I started talking at various stands and then realised you were filming. So
It's okay. It was just a walk around. It was not.
You need a blinking tally light that says on air, So
well, yeah, that's the trouble. That's the good thing about that camera. It's so tiny. People just didn't notice that they were being recorded.
No, and I also think I've turned off the LED, so you can't see it's recording. It's more anonym and yeah, you know what I mean. But if others want to record or film something, that's a very good camera. People are talking about bad focus on it, but I haven't experienced that. Just get a newer model, not the old one. And they have an Action 4 camera, but it still needs some updates, so I'm not sure if you should get that before in a year.
Did
or
anyone
like
do any little drone shots when they were there? Did you see any drone videos of SuperBooth?
I did see a drone flying around. I'm not sure it was allowed to fly above people.
Yeah, that's always the issue.
Yeah. But I did see a drone on the second or third day.
Because the tricky thing is the modern drones are all GPS based, and if they don't get a sky fix, you can't fly them indoors. So you have to get like a cheaper one, then you can fly indoor, outdoor, do whatever you want with it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody film one that was flying over the lake, and I thought, that's great. If it falls and ends up in the lake, they're not going to be able to go and get it.
Yeah.
Because the fog's issue.
But if it's a streaming one, the camera's getting on the phone, so you're getting some of the footage before it dies. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also in the remote if you use a remote.
Yeah.
Most do that.
The footage isn't as good as if it's on unit, but it's still there. It's mostly used for tracking, so you can know where it is. It is dangerous. I was in Yosemite flying mine illegally once, and I almost lost it for good. It kept going and going. No, and I couldn't tell which way I was turning it because it's so far away. And finally, I figured it out before I lost connection. Because if you lose signal, it's supposed to come back to home, but doesn't always. Sometimes it just keeps going. That's it.
But also today, there are so many rules of what you are allowed to do with those drones.
Well, it's because so many douchebags ruined it for everybody else. That's the problem.
Yeah.
If you get the ones with the guards, you can't hurt anybody. You just annoy them, basically.
Yeah.
And sometimes birds will come out of nowhere and just attack them. They get pissed.
Yeah, that's true. And today every drone is what do you call it? They have to send data out about who they belong to and where they are and where the controller is.
For sure.
So you can't hide if you do something illegal today.
This is the little one I have from DJI. My friend got it for me in China really cheap. So it has this little case for it. And you pop it out. And it's a little gimbal, 3-axis gimbal.
Yeah.
And a little screen, so you can actually see. It's a very small screen, but you can see what's going on. You have some controls. It's got a little, USB thingy and a card in it and everything. So it's quite good, actually. Shockingly good.
Yeah, one thing that annoyed me about mine, it does have a. I'll turn it on. It does have a screen of course, in the back, and it also has in the front. But when recording something like this, I wouldn't need a screen there. So I would really love it if it could flip out instead.
It should make a flip screen, yeah.
But it's I love this.
These are great because they're very small and it has this protective case, so nothing's exposed to get damaged or scratched. And you can even charge it the port's at the bottom, so you can charge it while it's in the case.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. I prefer using, obviously for YouTube streaming, you have to use a phone or something, but if I'm somewhere that I can use the footage later, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get good footage I have to do locally, I'll use this a lot, which is nice.
Yeah, I was thinking to use a phone, but it's an old phone and the battery dies with quite fast. So
and you have to keep an eye on it. I don't know how your signal is there if you try to do live, but sometimes the venue, you never know, right? Until you do it, and again, then your footage all ruined. So
I knew from others who tried to do live stuff earlier that it's not possible. So I didn't even have the idea when I got there. Every live thing should be either in the evenings from somewhere else or later. Not from the venue. So
they should actually make do they make a GoPro app for the Apple Watch? That'd be cool if you could beam the image to the Apple Watch and then put your camera somewhere and then just watch
I don't know. I don't have other
nice.
Apple stuff than the MacBook.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But they, on my old Samsung watch, I do have some apps where I can see my camera there, but not the Osmo.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they make good stuff. I have one of their drones. I have this camera. I have a couple other DJI things that are pretty nice.
It's occupied, the little house. I had to go. Oh, yeah.
Speaking of having to go, Henrik, I apologize. I have some things I have to attend to. So I want to say thank you for inviting me to join. Nice to see Tim again, and Andy, always a pleasure.
Yeah, good to see it. Yeah.
So I have to take off. But
thanks for sharing the SuperBooth stuff. That's good.
Yeah, like I say.
And it was nice to meet you
in person.
In real life. Yeah, in person.
So I only have one very important question. How was my breath?
It was okay.
As a dentist, you better have goddamn good breath. So.
I didn't notice your breath, and that means it was okay.
There you go.
Yes. Speaking as a diplomat, very good.
No, it's true. You only remember the bad things when it's about breath.
That's right.
So,
right. Yeah.
So it's true.
We'll call it Behringer breath.
Yeah.
Really toast us.
Very good. All right. See you guys later.
Okay.
Have
Yeah.
a great one.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Right.
Yeah, see you, Manny.
Bye.
So now it's just us. So now we can talk about Manny. So, or perhaps we should. Yes, I have to see. Oh, Manny did write me earlier than that he was about to leave. Huh, I did say. Perhaps we should end it and stop talking SuperBooth before next year. I do have some videos still to upload. For example, a video where I look at Nick Bad while he do some recordings.
Yep.
So there will be some more videos from SuperBooth. Not much, but there's still a few waiting.
Do you get enough of weirdos there and stuff? You have to kind of watch yourself once in a while. They have pretty good security there, or is it not really a risk?
No, not really. No, I haven't.
No. You're
No.
pretty consistently cool there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, people walk past you and you think, okay, I'm not sure what that was. But yeah, no, I've never had a problem with people there. So it's,
No, me neither. I had a difficult situation in a supermarket where we were serviced by a lady with a beard. It was weird.
Yeah.
But I don't
Times
mind.
they are
It's
changing.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
just not used to it. But was it? What was
Well, it
that the
matters as
question
long as
you
people
asked?
are cool. No,
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
no, just like around here, Santa Cruz and San Francisco and any number of places. They're fucking whacked out hippies and drugged out people and weird people. You never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are not necessarily homeless. They're just weird, right?
Yeah,
And with an event like that where it attracts all kinds, and I've seen the videos where people are kind of looking odd and moving odd and stuff, tripping maybe, something, you never know, right? So I just was curious if that's a rare instance or if it ever happens or if it's just totally like not like that at all.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been there 4 years. I've never had any issue with a single person, a person
No.
or anything odd like that. So, it's absolutely fine. So,
Because I hate to say I'm used to it here, but I just wonder if it's like that over there. So.
well, when I went to Music Messe in 2018, the hotel I stayed in, I thought was fairly close to the site, and it was really good value. And I thought that's cool. We've got a really good price hotel. I only found out when I got there the reason it was so cheap was because next door to the hotel was a drugs drop-in centre.
Oh.
And every day when I left the hotel to go to the Music Messe, I had to step over unconscious drug addicts.
Yeah, like
You
a
know,
methadone clinic kind of thing. That's
Yeah, sort of thing. So that was fairly weird. So yeah,
Ouch.
few weird people in Frankfurt, but say Berlin is just a very cool, creative place, and so never had issues in the city either, actually, at all. So
yeah.
yeah, but, yeah, it's because the thing I was just saying that the thing, of course, people are coming from all over to the site to
Yeah.
SuperBooth, and when you get there, you realise these people are all just as mad as me. So
Sure.
yeah.
But some artistic types sometimes take LSD, and then you don't know what the hell they're going to do. So
Yeah, well, a couple of times I smelt what was obviously marijuana, but that was probably about as
Oh,
extreme
that's-
as things got.
that's so normal here; it's not even funny. So
Yeah,
it's-
no, it's but it's just been legalized in Germany. So
Oh, it has. Okay. There you go.
yeah,
I have a past with floating walls and colors and stuff. So I don't mind people doing that. I'm just not into that anymore.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. It's just sometimes they don't know how to act when they're out of it, right? So either they can't help it or they just are kind of. I had a couple friends, unfortunately, that had a history with some bad drugs and took them anyway. I'm like, you can't handle it. You're already almost mental, right? And now you're taking LSD. He tried to burn his house down. I mean, it's just so you should know when you shouldn't be doing that. But some people can't help themselves. So
Yeah, but also often people who are that weird or that special are too special for other people, so they are alone. So they flee into the
no, I
drug
get it.
world.
They want to escape.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's some
They
aspects
feel
they find positive.
safe there. They feel free. They don't have all the bad inputs they usually have.
I mean, all I know is every time I've tried weed and tried to be creative, I can't. I have to be totally straight. I can't do anything creative on it. It's just I'm a mess.
Yeah. Also,
it's
if you
too
do
mind
it on,
altering, it's just too.
Yeah. Also, if you do it and you make music like that, then you can't do it if you don't have anything.
Well, that's the thing, because I was a square growing up. I didn't really try anything funny till a few years ago, just because of some friends and stuff. But having tried it, and I go, how do people make music on this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they did. The Beatles clearly did, and tons of other musicians did all along the 60s and 70s. And I don't know how they did it, because the way I work, I can't do it. I can't do Photoshop with it. I can't do video with it. I can't do music. I can't,
Yeah, but also a lot of artists stopped doing the good things because they were on those things.
Oh, sure, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But some claim it was inspirational. Like I don't see it. I can see how they could get that out of it with weird mental images and dreams and stuff. But in the moment, I don't know how they function.
No.
Yeah. We have a saying in the electronic synth community in the UK, which is that you should teach your children about electronic music and show them where they can buy modular gear, and they'll never have enough money to buy drugs.
That's a great meme. I love that one. Yeah. They'll be too broke to buy anything.
So,
Okay, shall we stop for today?
okay,
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's been great to be on. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's been great to have you on. You're welcome another time. So, please stay after the stream ends. Then we can chat on. Then I'll say bye to all the chatters. We have 33 viewers right now, and half of them at least are in the chat. So thank you very much for being here. It's also always a pleasure to have this live chat going while we stream. It's wonderful. You may not watch the stream, but at least you chat there and have a good time.
Yeah, to answer Chris Samurai's question, the Music Messe got shut down because of COVID, but they never got it restarted again. So I don't know whether it was just being financially just not worth it anymore.
I think they had with Synthplex as well, because it was supposed to happen the following year, and there's just nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, people were worried NAMM was going to close down, weren't they? So good. So it's good to have that back. Yes, it feels like I was walking around the site, by the way, saying to companies, "Thank goodness you're still here." Like Modal were there, which we thought wouldn't be anymore, and so WMD, and so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some people resurrected.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Even wasn't there a new Jomox thing out too? It's like, where did that come from? I thought they were dead.
Never count people out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but thank you for being here, and in about 3 weeks' time, a new show will come, and I don't know what it will be about yet, but we'll find out. So let's end it like this.
Thanks, Henrik. Nice to meet you, Tim.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye, all in the chat. Thanks for.
Bye.